When you fly for a living, you're going to have days where you got crappy weather. Today, we're shooting an instrument approach down to pretty much minimums into Lunken, Cincinnati. We've got freezing rain, ice pellets, and snow. Hi guys, Hellcat pilot. Got one here for you. We got some. We got all the cameras set up. Just happens. Empty leg into Cincinnati. Today is crappy in Cincinnati. They're calling it a winter storm / blizzard. Currently it is snowing. It's a wintry mix, they're calling it. We have freezing rain, ice pellets, and snow. The visibility is just over 1 mile. And we're landing on the runway without the ILS, without the instrument landing system. So we're going to be doing a GPS approach down to minimums, coming over, crossing the river, and it's going to be you'll get to see what it looks like to pop out of the clouds right at minimums. Not the low stuff like on an ILS instrument landing system down to 200 feet, but it's still going to be pretty low. It's still going to be a crappy day. Anyway, I have the camera set up, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, guys, just to check in, we're about 24 minutes out from Cincinnati right now. I'll just show you this. We're cruising at about 500 knots across the ground, which is about 580 miles an hour or so. 200 miles out from Cincinnati, which is 23 minutes. We'll land at about 10,000 pounds of weight with 1,500 pounds of fuel. We, lucky ducks that we are going to be landing right in a hole. The weather I was telling you about, the freezing rain and all that stuff, has stopped and switched over to rain. And there's a lull between. This is that 4-flight app I was talking about. So you can see over Cincinnati right now, we got kind of the clouds have dissipated and moved on. And the bad stuff, which is if we were connected to an actual internet device instead of the Stratus box here, we would see this is all pink. This is all pink, meaning frozen snow stuff. The Stratus doesn't broadcast that way, but we do see the precipitation in green. So anyway, here's our airport, and you can see we got kind of a hole we're going to be landing in. It's still not going to be nice weather, but it's not going to be the bad stuff.
Allegiant 2836, cross 45.
So,
miles south of Hagel,
given that, I just wanted to give you guys an update. To let you guys see what the chart looks like, what we'll be doing. And this might be better if I do an overlay with the computer, possibly. But this is the approach we're going to be doing into Cincinnati. This is called an RNAV approach, runway 3 right. And there's a lot of information on here. What this is basically a road map right to the end of the runway, from altitude right down to it gets us to a level, to an altitude above the ground, that we will be able to see the runway, get below the weather and see the runway and make a normal landing. This is called an instrument approach. And there's a lot of info on there, like I just mentioned. These are all GPS waypoints. There's the altitudes we'll be descending to, the visibility requirements we have to have for the approach, and basically the points, the step-down points. You can see that we would step down, and finally, because this is a newer GPS approach, we will actually be joining up with kind of an imaginary glide slope, a glide path, all the way to the numbers of the runway. So it's pretty neat. That's what we're going to be doing today, and I will continue to talk through it as we get closer here. The controller's already started to set at us. We're at 38,000 right now. We just left 41,000, and
Air 46 Charlie Kilo, just going to maintain flight level 350.
There she is again. Down to 350, 6 Charlie Kilo. All right, so we'll set our altitude in here.
Indy, good afternoon. United 1041, flight level 350.
There is 350 set now. I will get the airplane. Whoop. Sorry for the crappy camera work. I'll get the airplane descending, and I'll check back in with you when we get a little closer on the descent, and I'll have the rest of the cameras running. This is exciting stuff. All right, guys, we're descending into, on our way into Cincinnati. We're about to go into the clouds here. Gonna get some weather at Cincinnati. Here comes the clouds, probably some bumps. And icing, getting some ice. All right, so we go in the ice. We have heated wings. The engines, some of the engine's thrust is diverted to heat the wings up to get the ice off of them. We also have a heated windshield, and the inlets to the engines are heated. Keeps all the ice off of us here.
November 234 Hotel Sierra, Indy Center. Roger.
Oh, there's some of that rain.
230, then cross 35 miles northeast of the V Tyson at and maintain 13,000 at 250 knots.
Premier 6 Charlie Kilo, descend and maintain 9,000.
9,000, 6 Charlie Kilo. All right, so I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's still raining pretty hard. The outside temperature is -4 Celsius, which is below freezing. But the skin of, due to our speed, the skin of the airplane is at 13 degrees Celsius. So quite a difference. 14 degrees Celsius now. So that's 28, that's 58 degrees Fahrenheit, the skin of the airplane is. But the outside air temperature is actually -4 Celsius now. So a pretty big difference. That's friction. And we are no longer in icing because even though it's below freezing, the ram air temperature, like I mentioned, the friction of the air across the airplane is warmer than freezing. It's pretty good turbulence now. Some heavy rain. I'm going to go ahead and slow down. Airplanes like turbulence a lot better if they're going slow. And we're about to cross through 10,000 feet anyway, so we'll slow down for the controller. 3,000, 6 Charlie Kilo. All right. We are back on track here. See if I can. There we go. That's better for the other camera. Now you can see the 12 miles out from Sheila. I should have pulled this up before. Sheila is the outside feeder fix for the approach. And then once that is in line with the runway, once we're in line with the runway, we will descend each one of these points down to our minimums at the runway. Wow, it's really raining good.
6 Charlie Kilo, you're 12 miles from Sheila. Cross Sheila at or above 2,500. Cleared corrections. Cleared RNAV runway 3 right.
All right, we'll cross Sheila 2,500 or higher, and clear for the RNAV 3 right, 6 Charlie Kilo. All right, we are cleared for the approach. Okay. What I've done is I've set up our minimums into the approach. I've also programmed the airplane to fly a vertical path.
This is 377, contact Indy Center 126.37. 2637, Alicia 377, good day.
Which is kind of a nice feature. We'll zoom in here a little bit. I zoomed in one ring, so now Sheila's 5 miles away. Now we're in between layers now.
$2,500.
Departure at 3689, turn 270. 3689, Cincinnati departure radar contact, maintain 6,000 for downwind traffic. 6,000 for downwind traffic, 3689.
Oh, we're picking up ice again. Get all our ice stuff on. Now we're turning on to the final approach fix here. Or to the final heading. Lined up with our runway. Still pretty bumpy here.
November 6 Charlie Kilo, contact tower 118.3.
Going to tower, we'll see you at 6 Charlie Kilo. You mean 1187?
Yeah, 1897, thanks, see ya.
Yeah, bye. Lunken Tower, Premier 46 Charlie Kilo, 3 right.
Premier 46 Charlie Kilo, Lunken Tower. Runway 3 right, clear to land. And the last arrival 20 minutes ago reported bases of 1,600. And underneath the base is 5 mile visibility.
Alright, sounds good. Clear to land, 3 right, 6 Charlie Kilo. Alright, so the tower, that was the tower we were just talking to. He's cleared us to land. And the computer just picked up our vertical glide path out of the GPS. And it is locked into that, and it's going to start the descent. So he said the last airplane popped out around 1,600 feet, I believe he just said. With 5 miles visibility, that's pretty good. That's just the gear on as I got it pulled back a little bit. We're still pretty far out for landing gear. I'm just trying to keep it slow coming over this neighborhood here. Alright, we'll go ahead and get our gear. I think we're getting towards the bottom of the clouds. There we go, got vertical contact, which means I can see the ground out the side of the windows, but I can't see forward. I can't see the runway yet. Oh, I got the river. There we go, runway in sight. At 1,600 feet, right on the dot. Here's another notch of flaps coming in. We got flaps 20, gear down, 3 green, no red.
Minimums.
We are out of the ice. I'm going to kill all of our
500.
hot stuff. Hot stuff's coming off. We got our speed brakes arm down here. Something I left to run on the run when we're on the runway and the nose is touched down. I will pull this lever and a bunch of panels on the wing pop up and it kills all the lift on the wing. So we just crossed our minimums. That sound was the autopilot clicking off. I was letting the autopilot fly that, so I could talk to you guys and just manage the airplane instead of manipulating controls. We're 400 feet off the ground right now. Coming in with the last notch of flaps. You'll see the pitch of the airplane change here. Start slowing down a little bit more. We're looking the speed to be right on that ref number. We're looking at the instruments. And we're looking for 2 whites and 2 red lights. That means we're right on the glide path. There's lights out the front window there. There's also a little snowflake there to the left of the altitude that tells us we're on our glide path too. And it's still pretty windy and bumpy right here, so I'm carrying a little more speed than I normally would. You can see the runway looks crooked to our position. I'll straighten that out right before the wheels hit the ground. Alright, here we go. Back home. Speed brakes are on. Not as good of as a low as an approach as I thought it was going to be. I was really hoping for the...
Command 46 Charlie Kilo, turn left to Delta, contact ground point 9er.
Left to Delta, point 9er for ground, 6 Charlie Kilo. I was really hoping for the extreme low minimums for the video here, but didn't happen today. It's kind of silly, most pilots don't wish for that. But, you know, it's fun every now and then. And I wanted to show everybody. Ground Premier 46 Charlie Kilo. We're exiting here on Delta for signature.
Number 46 Charlie Kilo, ground. Taxi via Delta Alpha. Cross runway 7 at Delta. Hold short runway 3 left.
Delta and Alpha. We'll cross 7 at Delta. And we'll hold short of 3 left on Alpha 6 Charlie Kilo. Clean the airplane up a little bit. We're on taxiway Delta right now. Making a left turn on Alpha.
Number 46 Charlie Kilo, cross 3 left at Alpha, taxi to the ramp.
We'll cross 3 left at Alpha and we'll taxi to the ramp, 6 Charlie Kilo. Alright, so he told us to hold short, but now he told us go ahead and cross so we don't have to stop. Those flashing yellow lights mean that we're approaching another runway, and that's the hold short line. So if he did want us to hold short of that runway, we'd have to stop on the line that's right, you know, in between those lights. But he crossed us, so we're going to go ahead and cross runway 3 left. Alright, well that's pretty much it. Still a pretty nasty day out there. I guess, you know, the kids were out of school today because they thought this big blizzard was coming, and I guess it was doing something a little bit. I don't know, we had a little pocket of warmer weather that just came through here or something. It's odd. I guess the snow is still about an hour out maybe. Made good time home from Sarasota. Sarasota to Cincinnati in 1 hour and 40 minutes. Not bad. But I guess it makes sense because it just took me an hour and 20 minutes to get down there. Alright, pulling into our home here at Signature at Lunken Airport. Alright, we got our guy over here. Make a right turn, I'll whip it around to the left. A little bit of the right engine to bring us and whip us around here. There we go. Alright. We're here.
Well, that's how you do a RNAV instrument approach. We're getting some sleet right now. It's starting to turn into a little bit of snow, it looks like. So I'm gonna hit the road before I get caught behind a bunch of people who don't know how to drive. If you have, leave some comments. If you have some questions, I try to explain stuff in these videos, but I'm sure I'm missing out. So there's so much little information that I'm sure I'm just skipping right over. So if you have a question about something you're seeing in there, like what does this mean? What does that mean? Why does this flash, or why is that lighting up? Or, maybe a different camera angle or placement you'd like me to do, leave it in the comments. And I try to, or I do, reply to every comment people leave if it's a question. And I see them all no matter what. Anyway, till next time, like the video, subscribe. Where's it at? Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Bye.